Parampoojya Gurudev wrote this letter to his wife when he wanted to leave his house for sadhana, but family responsibilities compelled him to stay on. This letter reflects his mental state at that time, how sad and worried he was, and what a great emotional and mental struggle he had to go through before preparing himself for sadhana. Dearest, the man your destiny is linked with is of peculiar ideas and strange feelings. His thoughts are unconventional. He cannot identify his thinking with others, as he feels that his life was not intended to be lived in the usual humdrum way. He has to do something unusual, which is beyond the capability of ordinary people. Before our marriage, I passed several sleepless nights wondering if I should go through the marriage at all, and gradually I started believing strongly that my life was not cut out for it, as it puts constraints on a person and he cannot remain absolutely independent. It is true that it is one's duty to get married, but as I told you, I am unable to put myself in an average situation. There is restlessness, a fire burning in my heart which I cannot explain to you, although I want to. You do not know perhaps that when my marriage was proposed, I was the one who opposed it most strongly. I had told my parents frankly that perhaps my life was not meant to be that of a householder, that I would not be able to discharge the duties of a householder. My indifference would shatter the dreams of another person because my thoughts and my feelings are on a different plane altogether. I felt lost and unable to comprehend what was going on around me. I could not feel any affinity with it. Probably people in my family realized that if I continued this way, I would either lose my sanity or take refuge in sannyas, and that they would be the losers either way. They did not want their eldest son to become a sannyasi or make marriage an excuse to isolate himself from them. They started pressurizing me for marriage even more. You will well understand that mine was hardly the age to get married, but their apprehension perhaps made them plan to get me married as quickly as possible, and they completed a good deal of preparations without telling me. All their plans and efforts were inspired only with a desire to ensure the continuity of the family lineage. I agree that they were right in their own way. All parents wish their sons to get married and have children, future heirs of the family. But I knew what was happening was not right. My marriage would prove to be a bondage for me. In a way, I shall not be able to achieve what I wish to, as I will not be able to break away from the shackles and set myself free. My parents did not take my pleadings seriously. They brushed aside my arguments and eventually married me off to you. It is not your fault. You married me and came to this house as a daughter-in-law. You have your own feelings, aspirations, your own thoughts and ideas. You received affection from my parents. My younger brother joked with you and amused you. But the man with whom you went round the fire and took the marriage vows is not giving you his love. My indifference must puzzle you. Perhaps you have all kinds of misgivings about me, and maybe you try to dispel them from your mind. I have noticed that you look quite lost, and a shadow has fallen over your fresh and cheerful face. The reason, I suspect, is my indifference. After the wedding, Your friends must have given you all kinds of ideas. You must have had so many dreams. Perhaps your lips quivered to say so much. But after all these days, when you had nothing but indifference from me, your dreams must be shattered. Those tender expectations frustrated with a veil drawn over them. Probably I shall not be able to fulfill your expectations. I am not running away from responsibilities. I want to reach at a compromise with you to save you from future suffering. Probably I shall not be able to give you the kind of love a husband usually gives his wife soon after the marriage. I may not be able to fill your life with colorful dreams, which is the way it should be at this age. I shall not be able to indulge in love talks, whisper sweet nothings, tease, joke, and all the rest. But all this does not mean that I am really indifferent and that I am ignoring you. Now that I am married, I have thought a good deal about us. If it is my duty to develop my spirituality, it is also my duty to fulfill my parents' wishes. I should do what makes them happy. It is the duty of a son to respect his parents' wishes. He should not live to make them unhappy. I thought that they would be happy if I got married. They attached great importance to it, and one day they even said, "You talk of repaying the debt of gratitude to your parents. You can do that by listening to us and getting married." I gave my consent that very day, which culminated in our marriage. I understand your feelings. I have no right to crush them. It is not right on my part to disregard your values. I do not wish you unhappiness. I respect you as much as I respect my own self. I think it would be fair if I talk to you frankly so that you do not misunderstand my indifferent attitude. Many a time I hardened my heart and decided to talk to you. But one look at your innocent face and I was unable to say anything, and I lay down on the bed quietly. You must have seen me awake at night. I keep tossing in the bed when my mind is in conflict and I am caught in cross currents of thought. There is a storm raging in my heart and I feel a heavy burden on my chest. I can be rid of it only after I have talked to you freely, putting all my cards on the table. Until then, I shall not be able to do anything in peace. As I told you, my life is not intended to be lived the normal way. I do not want it. I do not feel inclined to strive for the material comforts of life, nor do I attach great importance to earning money and wasting these precious years in fun and frolic with my wife. I have from the very beginning been an introvert. I express myself in very few words because I feel so restless. There is a fire burning in my heart which cannot be seen by others. The more I try to suppress it, the more overpowering it becomes. I have been coming to you for the last 4 months in this state of mind, but I have not been able to say a word about all this, and that is the reason I am taking recourse to writing, to be able to place before you my problems without any reservation and reach an understanding with you in these early moments of life, so that I do not have any regrets and you have no resentment. I am a Brahman youth, and I do feel strongly that unless I am able to resurrect some of India's lost knowledge, my life will be a waste. My ancestors have been the greatest thinkers of the world. The values they gave to our society, the thoughts they handed us down are unique. It is because of their thoughts that we are still respected. Gautama, Kanad, Vasishta, Yagnavalkya and others must have sacrificed every moment of their lives for sadhana. They must have gone through fire. What they achieved after having renounced all the pleasures of the world is the nectar enriching our lives today. But now I feel that the source is drying up. Not that the source itself has become deficient in any way. It is our society itself which has gone astray. The trend of its thinking is changed. The fetters of slavery have made them forget their real self. Our highest asset, astrology, is being trampled under the feet of foreigners. Our mantra is being ridiculed. Our tantra, yantra and our sadhanas are being joked about. If this situation continues, we shall lose these valuable assets. Whatever knowledge and skills our ancestors acquired by physically torturing themselves is fast disappearing. In a way, we have become ungrateful, and it is a sad state of affairs. My heart shudders to think how depraved we have become. Our society is moving in a direction which will end up in a cell of darkness. I cannot consciously follow this road to darkness. This is the fire in my heart which is consuming me little by little. I cannot enjoy myself even if I wish to. I cannot get involved in merrymaking. At the age when a man talks to the moon, enjoys romance and his beloved's company in the moonlight, I keep getting consumed by this fire within me. My only desire is not to die like an ordinary man. It is not my aim to earn my livelihood in the humdrum way. My only aim in life is to establish astrology at a very eminent place and show to the world that this knowledge which made us the leaders in the world is very unique. Apart from this, Tantra and Mantra have been the very foundation of our society. Sadhana has been the pulsation of its life. That is what made India what it is and gave it a prestigious place in the world. It is the crowning glory of the world. But my country is being trampled upon by foreigners. We are alive, yet like the dead. We have forgotten our own language and the honor of our ancestors and have started feeling proud in not accepting ourselves. There are only two solutions, either to accomplish this task through politics or save our ancient heritage through sadhana. The first course does not appeal to me. I cannot adopt it. The second course is better for me. People who think differently or do not wish to follow the beaten track are called crazy, and you can imagine how painful it would be for you to be a madman's wife. It is to compromise with you on this point that I am writing this letter. I want you to help me achieve my objective. Be my partner in my endeavors and do what I wish. This is my desire. You may not see eye to eye with me at this point of time. My ideas are not likely to evoke a favorable response. You are young, and the young have their own philosophy of life. I am talking of separation at a time which is meant for fun, romance, and a carefree life. But I cannot help myself, and I expect you to understand my feelings. Only then you will appreciate that the path I have chosen for myself is chosen only by 1 or 2 in a million who leave the path strewn with flowers and to tread on thorns, renounce the road to pleasure and take to the road of want and hardship. They renounce the life of luxury and invite troubles and travails. Only they can provide leadership to society, give a new direction to the nation, and the coming generations benefit from their achievements and take pride in it. I have arrived at the conclusion that while living in society, I shall not be able to accomplish anything. I shall have to leave the house and isolate myself from society. Only then I shall be able to accomplish something special and get fulfillment. My only aim is to bring to life the lost knowledge, re-establish the prestige of astrology, and through mantra shastra make accessible to common people the wonderful skills that our ancestors possessed. This cannot be accomplished at home. The few sadhus who have acquired this knowledge do not live in crowded areas in the midst of those who live in comfort. They live in caves where material comforts are non-existent. They are in forests where there is danger at every step. They are to be found where there is no selfishness, no deceit and dishonesty, and no tyranny, since they have no use for them. I want to read those who have attained Siddhis, who are masters of this skill. I shall have to wander in jungles, live in caves, and suffer hardships at every step. It is only when I am free from passions and desires that I shall be able to acquire this knowledge, renounce all comforts and pleasures, and without fear for life, look for those sadhus and sannyasis who can be found only in isolated places. It is not easy to identify them. I do not know if I shall succeed in my objective, but my heart prods me on and tells me that this is the path for me. It is likely that I may die during my search for knowledge. I may be devoured by a wild beast, or my entire youth may be wasted without achieving anything. But I do not want to let these thoughts deter me. If I give up because of these apprehensions, I shall never be able to forgive myself. I would rather be killed by a wild beast than live like an ordinary man. I am determined to return home only after I have achieved something, or else I shall put an end to my life. But it is definite that I shall not return empty-handed. All this must be very painful to you. I realize that it is not fair to cause you pain and deprive you of joy. If I am prepared to make sacrifices for a great cause, I expect that you, as my wife, would cooperate with me and not put fetters on me. It is true that you have not gained by marrying me, and instead of giving you happiness, I am causing you pain and frustrating all your hopes and aspirations. I am conscious of it. I cannot say when I shall return. I do not even know if I am going to succeed. Today you are young. You may not be so when I return. It may be 10 to 15 years before I achieve my aim, and I can well imagine how terrible these years are going to be for you. I know that in these 15 years your youth will wither with worries and difficulties. The freshness and cheerfulness will vanish from your face. You will live a cursed life. Knowing all this, I am begging of you to live that kind of life. The path I have chosen for myself is not easy or smooth. It is covered with thorns. Every moment will be passed in want and hardship. My youth will be lost in pursuing this path. The glow in my face will fade too, but it is certain that I shall return. Whatever I am able to achieve at the cost of your youth and mine will not belong to you and me alone. It will be for the society, the entire country. That moment of success will be a very happy one for me, but the credit will be entirely yours because at the back of my success will be your supreme sacrifice. I may not even be able to see or meet you when I return, or I may meet my end during my endeavor. I cannot say what might happen. I only see myself caught up in a storm which is blinding me. I expect help from you, and I trust you will not prevent me but encourage me enthusiastically to go ahead on my chosen path. A wife has been called Sahachari, companion, meaning thereby that she is her husband's partner in progress and obeys him implicitly. This is what I expect of you. Rishis have compared a woman to the earth in her tolerance. I am sure you have all the qualities which the earth has, tolerance and forbearance, and that is what I expect of you. Maybe you will not accept all this, but before you reject it, think well. Will it be right on your part? Do you want to live the life of an ordinary woman? Do you want to live a mundane life, doing household chores and be satisfied? Is bearing children the highest aim of a married person? Are we to live like worms, creeping and crawling? You certainly would not want that, since every woman wants her husband to be successful, not a nobody. She wants him to be an out of the ordinary and famous person from whom posterity will derive knowledge. She wants her husband to contribute to the good of mankind. This must be your desire too. I would like to go in order to try and fulfill that desire of yours. Just imagine what a happy day it will be when I return after achieving something, when I shall be someone special and I shall have something unique in my possession. You will be proud to mention my name then. People will realize that you have had a big hand in my success, that yours was a great contribution in making conditions favorable for me. I shall be building myself up on the foundation laid by your sacrifice and will be able to manifest my personality, my Brahmanism. I am writing to you with a heavy heart because every letter that I write speaks of my selfishness and your sacrifice. Still I am gladly handing it over to you. I wished to say all this to you personally, explain everything. Whenever I tried, your calm and innocent face prevented me. Your tender age, the realization of your hopes, your expectations sealed my lips. I felt helpless and a lot of time was wasted in this conflict. There was a point of time when I thought I would never be able to speak to you, that I would quietly leave the house without telling anyone. But I could not do that. I thought it would be fair to tell everything frankly to the person whose life is now linked with mine, or else she will be puzzled, bewildered. Prior to this, I wrote several letters and tore them up, but I have hardened my heart today to have my say. I do not want refusal in response to this letter. I want consent, and I am confident that you will give it gladly and enthusiastically. All the happiness of my soul is pledged with you. I am taking with me only hunger and want, suffering and hardship. My future life will be full of thorns. I have to grope in darkness. I have no ray of light but the light of my own soul, which I am sure will lead me to the right path. At this moment, I am only giving you the prospect of an endless depression, helplessness, lack of mental peace, and a torturous long wait. You have to go through this ordeal, but please believe me, I shall definitely return. All my good wishes are with you. Yours loving, Narayan Dutt, Shimali.